Petri dish, the Petri dish, the Petri dish.
This is
The Petri dish, the Petri dish, the Petri dish. And we're going. I'm not even going to do an intro or a song thing. I don't feel like opening stuff.
You don't even want to say who I am.
They recognize your voice, the 2 or 3 listeners. Guys, it's Andrea B on the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks, Bobby. You're an angel.
Comedian.
What?
I don't know. You've got titles, right? I'm going to call you the world-renowned comedian Andrea B from now on, and people are just going to have to dispute it.
Sure.
I don't think you need to tell the truth anymore. I think we're in a post-truth society. Everyone has their own truth.
I was a writer for MTV. My Comedy Central special comes out in October.
She's shooting a special in space.
I'm shooting a special in space. Elon Musk was he was really helpful, but then he told me to name my special. It was like an X and then the number 45.
Yeah.
But he pronounced it cunt.
Huh.
Yeah.
That sounds like a thing he would do. Honestly, I couldn't dispute it. I'd be like, yeah, no, that sounds on brand. Everyone forgets that he's just like a South African dude who's like, no, I don't love apartheid. Don't, no, what? Stop. The same way that we would all look at Germans in the 50s. They were like, we weren't Nazis. Don't, no, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically how it goes. God. Society isn't crumbling. Stuff is cool still, right? You know cool stuff. What cool stuff do you have, Andrea? You got cool stuff?
Well, you just recorded a podcast for me with me. That was cool. It's called That's Disgusting. You might remember because you just helped me with it about 5 minutes ago.
That's true. We're working on a new thing because it's fun to have an outlet to tell gross stories. And sometimes, like, especially when you get on certain podcasts or areas, you're like, I really want to say this one thing, but also they don't want to hear it at all. Yeah,
but guess who does want to hear it? It's me.
Yep. Andrea wants to hear it. So if you guys have disgusting stories, just hit her up on like a messenger somewhere and be like, I want to tell you about my poop. Send her pictures of your poop.
Don't do that.
Just send her straight up pictures of toilet bowl.
No.
Turds.
No.
Make sure
just
you're
gross stories.
Just stories, I guess. She only wants to make a long text post.
Yeah. I'll make an Instagram. I just made the logo.
Yeah.
It'll look better when I have, I transfer, I draw, and then I put it on my iPad, and then I draw on that, and then I send it to my computer, and then I tweak it from there. So I have like a digital process that I've learned for my drawings, but also it's not like a graphic design technique they would teach in a school, know? I'm just like I figured this out, and this is a way to do it.
That's literally all of the education I have. I'm like, people have told me the correct way to do some things, but I've literally learned the rest of it by fucking up a bunch over and over again and going, oh, this is my process now. This is the way I do it because I haven't learned any other way, and now I just refuse to learn any other way because I've got my methods. I guess learning isn't bad. Learning's probably cool.
Didn't you go to college?
Yeah. I learned like 3 things there. And really those things, I feel like I've learned one rule, and it was probably my favorite lesson ever. And my teacher just said, you need to learn the rules so you break them correctly. And I was like, oh shit. I kind of like that because it's easy to learn. I guess not easy, but it's easier to follow the rules, and it's easier to do random shit. But if you want to like do different things no one has done, know the rules, and then purposefully break them in a way you haven't seen before. And I really like that. That's what I'm frequently doing. I'm like, I know the proper method. That's kind of what I like to do with comedy. I'm like, I know these are certain ways you should tell a joke. I get that. There's a setup, there's a punchline. Ooh, you can be abstract, you can be observational. There's so many things, but I want to do it not that way. I want to find a terrible avenue to go down myself. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, do that for sure. Just find the wrong path and take it.
You know, how else do you make a hiking path? You know, some people break their legs, other people find a cool new thing. I'm hoping to not comedically break my own legs.
Yeah. No.
Do you feel like you've ever broken your comedy legs?
I've broken my real leg.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
Was it at least funny?
It's a good story. I mean, I bought a longboard and everyone told me I was going to break my ankle and I was like, shut up. And then I broke my ankle and I was like partying that night, but I was also studying. So I was like up because of Red Bull, you know, and then like, so I didn't feel like I was like drunk at all. And then I was longboarding and I just fell off of it.
Fuck. Exactly as the prophecy foretold.
Yeah. Yeah. They all told me I was going to break my ankle and then I broke my ankle and my parents were really mad at me. Oh, and I hobbled to the curb with this board as like a cane. And then I sat down in front of my apartment because I didn't know what to do. And one of my roommates was mad at me, so I didn't call her. My other roommate was out of town. My boyfriend was out of town. And I was like I had this like group of frat boys walk up with like one girl and they were like, she's fine. And the girl was like, let's wait with her like until like the ambulance comes. Like, you're such an asshole. I was like, because you could see that my foot was no longer attached to my leg. Like it was just
comfortably.
Like it was just flopped. I could not even. I tried to like move it. Well, the problem was when I got up from the fall, I walked on it because I'm
down.
Yeah, I don't know how to like fall and not just from snowboarding and like all the sports stuff I do. I'm just like, I kind of just like fall or like get beat up and like get back up and like continue. Like I broke a helmet once and then I didn't notice and then I got on a chairlift. But that could be brain damage. That's a different story.
You're just like, there's just a fog of war around you. You just hear things going off and you're just getting on the chairlift. Like, this is fine.
Yeah, this is fine. So that's like the mentality. And then the frat boys were douchebags, obviously. They were like, she's fine. And it's like, no, I wasn't. Like, I'm not fine.
Sitting here with my leg in half and there's an ambulance on the way. That is the definition of not fine.
Yeah. So then the ambulance comes and they like pick me up and they pick the longboard up and he's like, no helmet, huh? And I was like, what? And then I was like, he was like, do you know the words to that song? And I was like, what? And he was like, he was a skater boy. See you later, boy. And I was like, what? Like, what is happening? Like my foot is broken. You're singing Avril Lavigne's Skater Boy to me. Like, I don't understand. Like, yeah.
It sounds like he was trying to convince you had a concussion by not staying in one lane of discussions at all.
Yeah. It's like, what? I didn't hit my head. Why are you acting like this?
I'll teach you to wear a helmet. Anyway, the pizza's on the way. Have fun in the back of this delivery car. Anyway, my houseplant needs to get watered. And you're like, what? I'm not blacking out. You're jumping around. Whenever you get in an accident, 100% of accuse them of conspiring against you.
Yeah. My God.
Oh, Andrew.
Yeah, so that was that. And then I got to the hospital and they were like, you need surgery. And then I got surgery and my boyfriend came back from out of town and my parents like drove up and they were like, just like, we told you. And it was so bad. And then my mom found like a pack of cigarettes and I was like, those aren't mine, but you know, they were. And like,
this pack of cigarettes in my purse that I'm alone with is totally not mine.
It's not mine. someone left them at the party, and I had to bring them back to them.
I like that you treat your own mother like she is a cop. You're like, that's mine. You can't prove that was mine. I haven't seen that bag before.
They were like, why did you buy a longboard? We told you this was going to happen. And I was like, great. And then so they leave, and then my boyfriend comes, and then we have sex in the hospital.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it. That's the end of the story.
I'm assuming that your foot was just like in a cast or in a boot, and then you guys had the bed. But for some reason, the first thing that jumped in my head was like your whole legs in a cast in traction, and he's just trying to get past the hanging leg. Just
Yep. I mean, it was just a cast, but it was like, I feel like it was raised a little bit, so I don't remember how we did that. It must have been on some pillows. I was so out of it. The food was so good at the hospital. I like regularly think about it. I'm like, fuck, that grilled cheese was like one of the best grilled cheeses like I had. And they had popsicles. They were like feeding me popsicles. Like, and I had one of the buttons for the morphine, and I just kept like pressing it. But I remember like I was a lifeguard at the time, and I called and told them that like, cause you can't lifeguard with a broken ankle.
Yeah.
And I like called, and I talked to this boss, and he was like, he was just like a terrible manager. And one time like said that I yelled at children, and I was like, I did not. I like tried to get their attention by yelling the word hey. And someone was like, anyway, so he sucked. And then I was like, hey, I broke my leg. And he was like, so are you coming in tomorrow? And I was like, to what? Teach like from the sidelines? Like teach little children in the water who need someone in the water with them? Like, what are you saying to me? Like,
well, if a kid starts drowning, just get the little net and scoop them out like leaves.
So you're going to be here tomorrow?
So you just come on, we'll get several trash bags on it, and you can just hop right into the water.
Yeah. I was like, I can't. I had to get surgery. Like, I'm like, what are you thinking? You literally asked me to come. Like, I can't fathom that. I was like, what the hell is happening? And then, of course, there's like a lot of guilt attached to my ankle now because everyone told me.
Yeah, and now your ankles are your Achilles heel, but for the pride, I don't know. There's no allegory I could attach to that after the fact.
Yeah, I don't know. They told me that I wouldn't have like full mobility, and it would just like suck for the rest of my life. But I actually do have full mobility. I was like, really? You're going to tell me that I'm not going to be able to fully move my ankle? Like, hell no. And then I like did a bunch of like meditations and acupuncture and like Reiki and just like healed myself. And physical therapy, of course, you kind of need that part. You know, besides all the spiritual bullshit that I was...
You're going to glance over physical therapy after you mention Reiki.
Yeah.
It's just going to go for it. So good. So good.
And, you know? I mean, yeah, I was also going to physical therapy. My doctor was hot. He looked like Obama.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. That's, yeah.
I wish I would. I've only broken one bone, and it's terrible because it was just it's just like the joke that I have, because it isn't a joke, it's my life. But if I broke my foot skanking at a ska show.
Oh my God.
It wasn't even like, ooh, I was going to go see Real Big Fish. My friends were in a ska band, and I went to see them, and no one was up there for them. So I was like, fine, I'll just start a little skanking circle pit by myself for them. So I'm just out there dancing around, and then like 4 or 5 other people join in, and I got a little pit started for them. And then I broke my foot doing that. And I was like, I'm just going to hobble outside. And I thought I'd be fine. I thought I could sleep it off. I didn't know it was broken. I had never broken a bone before. I just thought, like, that's bad. Don't fall on your ankle like that. And I had to hobble to the emergency room. I didn't have crutches or anything, so I walked in. I took the stick off of the Swiffer that my roommate had bought, and I just hobbled like that, like Gandalf with a whole staff, just in with a Swiffer handle. And they were like, "Oh God, are you okay?" And I was like, "I want to sit down. My foot doesn't feel good."
Oh no.
Good times. Don't break bones, kids.
Yeah, don't do it. But did anyone ever tell you don't go to ska concerts and start skanking? Is it skanking? I know ska. I used to listen to Real Big Fish.
Hell yeah.
I think I just put it in like a part of my brain that there's just like the little ska part of my brain that never comes out. But yeah, did anyone ever tell you not to skank? Don't skank because you're gonna break your foot, Bobby.
No one ever did because, I feel like it's the spirit of ska to just not listen to what the outside world tells you. It's got that same rebellious spirit that I love in all my other rebellious music. But then ska is like, forget all of your woes and only have the happiness of this moment.
Oh, I see. I guess I haven't listened to ska in so long.
It unlocks your happy muscles.
Does it?
Yeah, it's so good. Or you can listen to sad ska.
Oh, there's sad ska?
There's more serious ska, and it makes me laugh a little bit, but also it's great, listen to some
serious ska.
Sweet Light Manifesto, they're the big one. There's newer ska bands that are, this is getting too deep into pop punk for anyone to understand, but there's some modern ones that are taking like the old Tumblr pop punk and easy core and emo styles, and then they're mixing that with ska music. And so now there's like easy core pop punk ska.
Oh, okay.
Sounds like the Wonder Years, and then a trombone comes in.
Oh.
So good.
It's always the trombone.
It's always the trombone. You got to at least have a trombone. Trumpet is also suggested. Or if none of that, just a saxophone will do.
Yeah, is that the backup?
Yeah, I feel like...
there's always the sax, no?
Not always. I know that, again, Real Big Fish, they didn't have a saxophone player for a long time, until recently when a new guy in there, like, I guess that's not recently, it's like 4 years ago. But still, you can get by a trumpet and trombone, I think.
Yeah.
Well, that's everyone's ska history for the day.
Yeah, great.
Ska came before reggae,
Did it?
Never forget.
I had no idea.
It happens. I want to trace more music. I'm weirdly into like music anthropology, even though I listen to no music. I don't know anyone's bands or things that people like, but I love the history of it.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, sigh.
Yeah, music.
Are we sad now? Sad ska.
Just so reflective of all the... What was the first song you remember enjoying? Do you have like a first favorite song?
I remember like when my mom would listen to the radio and like Sweet Dreams would come up. And then I remember like trying to like learn all the lyrics, and that's probably it.
That's a good one.
And then I was, my first CD or my first tape, I think, was the Spice Girls.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. And then I remember my CD collection really well because I had like Natalie Imbruglia and Len.
Ooh.
Yeah. Steal My Sunshine. And then I had like Korn.
You had to,
Yeah, and Eminem. But did I say Natalie Imbruglia already?
Oh, yeah, that was number one.
I really just like felt her so hard.
I get that.
I would just like lay on my floor and She'd be like, lying naked on my floor. And then I'm like, I'm not naked, but I'm on my floor. And I am torn also, Natalie. I'm also torn, okay?
All torn.
That's a good song to torture people on the ukulele with. I'm going to find the chords.
There you go. You get the chords. Because my first recollections of remembering songs is there was only like 2 CDs in my kitchen, and it was like one was my mom's Celine Dion CD. So
of course, yes.
It's all coming back to me now. Is like the first song I remember the words to. And then there was like a novelty holiday CD that my dad had. So I remember learning all the words to Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, because it was the funniest thing I had ever heard at the time.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, that's classic.
It is. It's a classic. I had Monster Mash on that CD. Like the Chipmunks Christmas song was in there.
Oh my God, yes.
Ah.
I do love the Chipmunks Christmas song. Just so tiny little voices.
There's a section of YouTube that likes to take those songs and slow them down so that you can hear the original guys' voices.
Oh my God!
Back in the day, they could only do it by tape, so you'd have to physically like speed up, or like the vinyl that it was cutting to, you would just speed it up, and that's what you would get. So the way they recorded it is they would slow down the instrument track and then have those guys singing to a slowed down instrument track. So it's just like 3 guys going, "We." That's why there's so many weird breathing spots for the Chipmunks. You think they're just excited and breathing all the time.
Oh my God!
It's because those guys were holding out single notes for like 10 seconds.
I'm fascinated now.
Yeah, there's some great. I wouldn't even. They're not DJs, but there's some great audio editors out there. They'll just take stuff and make it weird. Like they found out if you slow down Dolly Parton singing Jolene, it just sounds like Billy Idol. It just sounds like him from back in the day too. So they sound
really. Oh, Billy.
Yeah, I think that's all the things I can talk about.
Yeah.
They're giving away the new Call of Duty game for free, and I'm still a little bit of a douche, so I'm so excited about that. So I'm going to get back to playing Call of Duty.
Oh, you just got it? It's a new thing for you?
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Okay, well, this was fun. Thank you for having me. I guess I could, do real things or get out of the house or something, or
you were saying a whole plan earlier. You just got to go do it. Stop painting that puke and just go see the.
Oh, I'm on a little doodle page.
Oh, you got the doodle page.
Yeah.
I still have the original thing that you hand scribbled me of what Sharon looks like, so I can picture it.
Oh, thank God.
Have that small doodle.
What should we do about Sharon?
God, I don't know. We got to figure that out later. I can't process information anymore.
It's just really she's almost too much. She can't have a whole half hour. She has to have it's like a 10-minute episode max.
Dr. Katz situation where it's they pop in and they do some stuff.
Yeah.
Be good. We can have sections.
We can have guests like my therapist.
I think you should have a different therapist every time. You can have, and every time you think every time you think that they are your therapist, every guest you have, and then you share too much with your guest, and they get weirded out and they leave. That's the whole show. It only lasts as long as they feel comfortable with.
Well, the guests have to just be a bunch of characters too.
Oh, they can play it like a Two Ferns situation where they're there and maybe they're them, but they're just not. They're not into it.
Yeah, no one's into Sharon. No one's into it. That's what my husband used to say when I would take peanut butter and put it on my labia.
Okay, I guess this is only a reference that me and you will get right now until the episode comes out. But I just realized through the headphones, you doing the Sharon voice sounds exactly like our guest on our last podcast we did, Kelly McInerney. You as Sharon sounds a little bit like her, and that made me laugh just now.
Oh, did I just have a little Kelly inflection in there?
It was wonderful. Now I'm just gonna, the guests themselves are gonna have to go listen to That's Disgusting when it comes out and then compare it to.
Well, yeah, I mean, Sharon is disgusting, and Sharon is like the most disgusting character I've ever come up with. And I came up with Sharon on a long road trip to Humboldt, and I was driving up, and I couldn't get like any radio stations except for this one radio station where this woman was talking in depth about the Watergate scandal, and I forgot like who she was. She was like one of the people who like leaked
or something.
What?
She was one of like the leakers. Oh man.
Yeah, and she was like just saying things. She was like, I remember when I would go with the women and their husbands would be outside talking, and we'd go in, and I would feel so out of place, because I leaked all the Watergate papers. And then I just started doing that voice, and then I thought it was really funny, and so I was like, that's like a character within itself, like the public radio host, like, like with the just thank you for tuning in, that's how they talk, and this is pbs.com. It's not pbs.com.
It's to Sharon. She goes to pbs.com. That's why she is always wrong.
And I was just so fascinated by that voice. I had to start doing it, and then I don't even know where Sharon Too Much came from. I don't know. I can't tell you what my brain produces sometimes.
I can see that.
Sharon Too Much. With Sharon. It's sharing too much with your host, Sharon Too Much. Guess who I am? I'm Sharon Too Much. What are we going to do about me, you're thinking?
God, you're so weird.
It's not me, it's Sharon.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah. But it is fun to, like, on a long road trip, just, like, practice all your voices. Like, I always, like, well, there's no one else in the car with me when I do these things. So it's just, like, I'm driving alone like a crazy person, just talking to myself in a New Zealand accent, like, oh, yeah, he's a good cunt, eh? It's like there's an inflection at the end. And I've been watching a lot of New Zealand things, and that's how they talk, but also I've been there, and I've heard them, and I've been with a Kiwi.
That is the perfect place to practice accents, because it's embarrassing if you get caught practicing an accent.
Yeah.
You're like, it's not how all right. Yeah. I got caught doing an embarrassing thing.
Yeah. I mean, I love just bringing out the New Zealand, and it's like here, and then if you want to make it Australian, you just go down a little bit. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're Australian, it's just like lower. It's like a little bit lower, but if you're from New Zealand, it's like it's up here.
Is it because New Zealanders are happier? Would you say? Is that they have more joy in their lives? I don't know anything about either culture except that Australians have kangaroos, and I didn't know the pouch was so small, and then people just stretch it open, and then kangaroos freak me out. Yeah, accents.
Kangaroos freak me out too.
Yeah, if there's anything we can learn, guys, don't with kangaroos. That's it. That's the rules. The end.
But if one was to talk to me, it would sound like this. No, I was actually not that great, because the inflection, it still sounded like I was asking a question. Is that you ask a question at the end? Well, yeah.
Can you only do Australian if you start New Zealand and like you got to bring yourself there?
I think so. It's like, oh, let me hold in 1 second. Sorry, I got to bring it back down. Bring it back down here.
That can be your character is just an Australian, but secretly or New Zealander, so they have to start in their accent and then go down. That's how they can do it.
I have been watching a lot of New Zealand like films. I'm obsessed with what's his name, Taika
Waititi.
Yeah, there you go. What's his name?
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, Taika Waititi. I've been watching a lot. I bought What We Do in the Shadows, like the movie.
Oh, it's such a good movie.
I bought it on Amazon just because, like, to rent it, it was like $4, but to buy it, it was like $8. And I was like, well, like, fuck it. What's another $4 for a ridiculous thing like this? And yeah, it's so good. And then I watched the TV show. And then I watched Hunt for the Wilder People, which is also one of his films.
I love that movie too.
Yeah, it was really good. And yeah, that was great. I want to watch more of his movies. I didn't realize the Thor movie, he wrote most of it, right?
Thor became an interesting character. He was kind of boring and one-dimensional before that, and then he's the one that gave him that kind of personality.
Yeah. And I love that he comes up in all the movies. He's the rock dude in Thor.
Yeah.
And then in Hunt for the Wilder People, he's the priest. He's so funny.
He's just hiding.
What's behind that door? Is it Jesus? Rhys Darby. If Rhys Darby could just be in everything all the time, I would. He's so great.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever see that show that he was on? It was what was it called? Something. They're all stranded on an island. The plane crashes.
Survivor.
No.
Gilligan's Island.
What?
Gilligan's Island.
No.
The other one. Fantasy.
No, it was fairly. It's called Crashed or something. Fucking. What's his name?
Lost.
Hanks. I just burped when I said Colin Hanks. Colin Hanks. Colin Hanks is in it. Hanks. I'm gonna Google it right now.
Google it.
What can I Google? And what I started Googling was Colin Hanks plane crash, and that's what I'm going with. Okay, now I'm gonna write sitcom because I don't know what else. On new comedy, his famous dad. Okay, cool. Thanks. Now I just have to go to IMDb because that's how that's where you always end up. It's just gonna be IMDb. Oh, this makes me want to watch Orange County.
Fuck, I forgot about that movie.
I know.
Is that Colin Hanks' first movie?
Is it?
I don't remember.
I think so, because it comes up first.
Yeah.
This is okay, here we go. It's really funny.
Are you sure you didn't just imagine a whole sitcom?
I mean,
you dreamt it. This is you got to start casting now before someone takes your idea.
Yeah. But I don't even see.
It's like that movie where everyone forgot what the Beatles were, so that guy went and stole all their songs.
Oh, did you see that?
No, but I think that can be you, but with this show. What if it was as good as the Beatles and only you have memory of it?
Maybe he's not in it. Maybe it's not Colin Hanks at all.
Completely. Just a guy that looks like him. Who else?
Yeah, let me see. I'm gonna look up Rhys Darby and go from there because it was hilarious. Rhys Darby gets involved with Fucking Somalian pirates. Oh, come on. IMDb is not doing what I want it to do for me. Oh, you know why? I don't know how to spell Reese. By the way, it's Rhys.
Yep.
You could have told me that.
You were spelling it like the candy, weren't you? For the listeners, the face she just gave me.
Okay, I'm going to find it. Oh my God, he's such an amazing actor. What if they just say, oh, it's called Wrecked. Okay.
Wrecked. Now, is it spelled like an actual wreck, or is it like WREKT and then a hashtag before it?
There's no hashtag. It's just the word wrecked.
All right, there we go. I guess I accept that.
It's pretty funny, though. And it's not... Obviously wasn't Colin Hanks, but this guy, Zach Kreger. Zach Kreger looks enough like Colin Hanks.
Professional.
But anyway, it was pretty funny.
Is that on Hulu or something?
Yeah, I think so.
That sounds like a thing they would have.
Yeah. Like this guy who was literally, I don't even know. The guy that looks like Colin Hanks.
That's kind of a situation where they probably wanted Colin Hanks and they went, find us a guy. Just like they did with What's His Face that was in Balls of Fury and not Jack Black.
Who?
The guy that was like in those new Harry Potter animal movies. But he just looks like Jack Black and acts like him, but isn't, except I guess he's British. I don't know about that guy's life.
I don't know who that is. I can IMDb him.
Yeah, don't do it. Balls of Fury is too terrible to take up any more time in our brains.
Did you see, I think it's called like 7 Days in Hell or something like that?
Nah.
It's like a fake tennis movie with Andy Samberg.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I think it's 7 Days in Hell. And Rob, oh, that's the ping pong movie. How stupid is that? Okay. Yeah, let me find it. You have to watch it. It's fucking hilarious. Maybe that's not what it's called.
Andrea, why don't you know what anything's called? Are you going through Andy Samberg's IMDb now?
Yeah.
Everyone's going to take your research techniques. You're letting out all your secrets.
I know. I'm going to find it. I want to watch Popstar. I don't remember if I saw that.
I didn't see it.
Mm-hmm. I'm just looking. Just
reading through it.
7 Days in Hell. Isn't that what I said?
I think so.
Yeah. It's very.
Say Claire Danes.
What?
What?
She's not in it.
Yeah, she's not in anything anymore. I don't know why I'm getting sad for Claire Danes.
I mean, what has she done lately?
You know what? You're right. Claire Danes, if you're out there and want to be on the podcast, hit me up. We'll figure it out. Mad shout-outs to Claire Danes. Hell yeah. West Side, I'm assuming.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know her life. All right, I'm going to go play a bunch of video games. Thanks for being on the show, Andrea. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, I'll share too much with you later as Sharon.